Chris Dodd spoke out very loudly and clearly, but I want to finish this. Others did not. Others were quiet. They went quietly to the floor of the Senate, cast the right vote, but there is a difference between leadership and legislation.
I think it is important to lead. And I think, John, the fact is that I opposed this war from the start. So you were about 4.5 years late on leadership on this issue. I think it's important not to play politics on something that is as critical and as difficult as this.
Well, that was the exchange from last night's debate in New Hampshire, done by our friends at CNN and WMUR and the Manchester Union leader. That has gotten most of the attention in the day after clips. You just saw it. So for the benefit of audience that might not have seen all of it, was that representative? Was that the big moment? Was there any overall winner and loser here? What do you think, Mort?
Well, I think that John Edwards has been watching Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton moving left on the war, and was afraid that they were going to occupy his space. He's the most left candidate on lots of issues in the Democratic Party, so he made this thrust at both Obama and Hillary for not
opposing the troop funding bill noisily enough. And he got zapped back by Obama, which you saw. Yeah, I think that because he had voted for the original resolution authorizing the war, for which he said he was a mistake and he's sorry.
Yeah. So I think to the extent that there was a moment, a key moment, I think that was the key moment. But what impressed me in this debate is how these Democrats say that they're all willing to use force in certain circumstances. They'll all immediately, as soon as we leave Iraq, they're going to go devote troops to Afghanistan. They're willing to enforce a no-fly zone in Darfur for moral reasons and so on. The question is, if the going got tough in either of those places, Afghanistan or Darfur, say Darfur developed into another Somalia, would they stick it out? And given the record in Iraq, I can't see how you could possibly think that they would, including Obama and Mrs. Clinton voting against aid to the troops, voting against funding for armored vehicles while the troops are in combat. I mean, that is a total cave to MoveOn.org and the left.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the Democrats are painting themselves in a corner. If the war in Iraq were to go in a different direction, if President Bush, as there have been some reports indicating, comes up in September with a way to reduce the number of troops in a way that is not a timetable but changes the dynamics of the war in Iraq, the Democratic candidates, because they are moving to the left and have moved so far, I think are really going to find it impossible for them to come into the middle, which is always the place they have to be in the general election. And so the Edwards prod, the MoveOn.org pushing to the left, I think is a real problem for the Democrats, especially if there's any improvement in the war in Iraq. The other issue that I think I see here is how narrow these dancing on the head of a pin on Iraq has been. Edwards' complaint here was that neither Senators Clinton nor Obama said anything before they voted, from his view, in the right place. Yeah. And that, to me, is so far away from where voters are thinking. They're not judging based on some sort of protocol inside the U.S. Senate.
I think Edward was extrapolating from his own style. He thought, being a blowhard was a part of the voting in the Senate. You have to bloviate about what you're doing. I didn't think it was a particularly good debate for Edwards. I actually thought Hillary Clinton, who always has everything to lose because she's the establishment candidate and she's the front runner, did quite well, particularly on the question, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think she was the only one who spoke about this, English being an official language of America or the national language of America. And she made a very smart distinction between why she's against it being an official language, but it should be our national language. I thought that was good. She also said, I thought honestly, and this is not Democratic dogma, capital D, Democratic dogma, that we are safer than we were before 9/11. And obviously we are in this country. Obama disputed that, but I think Hillary got the best of that. And look, she wasn't trying to score any big points. As a result, I thought she did fine.
So Hillary Clinton and the rest of the Democratic candidates are moving left, and wouldn't you both agree Fred Barnes is too?
Absolutely.
Not quite. The other issue that they're moving left on is on health care. Hillary Clinton has not learned from her 1994 experience. She's still out there attacking health insurance companies and drug companies. It was the health insurance industry, the Harry and Louise ads, that defeated her 1994 plan. She's right back at it again.
That's it for the panel, but stay